Let's see. Once we went to what is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here with the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. I got my friends with me today, and we're here to talk all things Super Bowl, NBA. Not so much the Knicks, John. My bad. I'll just leave you alone. But anyway, we're here to talk about some good old sports today. We got Mr. LA himself, Marcus LA Marr, and John Jenkins. How's it going, fellas?
What's up?
I was good to that dig, but
I know that was like right out the gate, Jeff. Damn,
hey, man.
I was like, you never used to act like this, Jeffrey. Now,
hey, man. Well, the Knicks weren't always 12th in the East, neither. So it's a little fun. It's a little fun, and I need the Knicks to go ahead and keep losing, and my Louisville Cardinals to go ahead and get Kenny Payne off their staff. But that's we can talk about that later. We're here to talk about some cool stuff. And Marcus, you said something that kind of ticked me off. Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is this weekend. It's in LA. Mr. LA Marr himself will be partaking in festivities out with the Super Bowl. But we got two good teams, a surprise team in the Cincinnati Bengals and a team that people like myself predicted would be in the Super Bowl, the LA Rams. Marcus, I'm coming with you. Who is going to win the Super Bowl and why?
Wait a minute. You're going to sit there with a straight face and lie to your audience like that? Stop. You didn't predict the Rams to go to the Super Bowl.
I didn't pick the Rams to go to the Super Bowl? When I record every single day. I record every single day.
Oh, hold on. I'm not talking about wait a minute. I'm not talking about as the playoffs started. I'm talking about heading into the season, midway point. Did you pick the Rams to go to the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Where's the proof?
Yes.
We need to receive. Pull up your
I record every single
when you edit it and you put that part in where it's like
I record every single day. I tweet every single day. When the playoffs started, I said the most dangerous team in the playoffs was the Bengals. That's a fact. I can pull up that tweet right now. I said the Bengals was the most dangerous team, and sure enough, they're in the Super Bowl. And I got a lot of backlash when I said they're the most dangerous team in the playoffs. Before the season, hell, I drafted Matt Stafford as my fantasy quarterback because I felt like they were going to be that good, and they started off 7-2. You saying it like the Rams was some soup sandwich garbage. They were the second seed in the East, in the NFC, not in the East. My bad, Knicks.
The NFC. First of all, Matthew Stafford can play. We all know that. But throughout the course of the season, from wire to wire, the Bucks and the Green Bay Packers were better than the Rams. That's not conjecture. That's not an opinion. That is fact. Now, what I will say,
Packers, I had no faith in Aaron Rodgers, though. Aaron Rodgers has disappointed me time in and time again and time again and time again. So I didn't pick them. I said the Rams. Now, it might not have been the brightest thing, but I was just like, I think the Rams with their superstars, because they don't have like regular players like Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. So those are superstars. Combined with Matthew Stafford, and then they went out and got Odell, and then they went out and got Von Miller. I was like, this team is going to the Super Bowl. But I said it before the season with the Stafford. I said, yo, this team is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Then they went out and traded for Odell. Then they went out and traded for Von Miller. And then their guys got healthy, like Cam Akers. What? There's no confusion. I had no faith in Aaron Rodgers. Huh?
They're good enough to win the Super Bowl. I just don't think that's going to be the case come this Sunday. On paper, the Rams should beat the Cincinnati Bengals because they have the more talented team, right? But we know watching football for as many years as we've been doing it, the most talented team doesn't necessarily always win, because if that was the case, the New England Patriots wouldn't have won 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady at the helm. So what I will say is this. Kevin Hood says Bengals are going to lose big, homie. Kevin Hood, if you feel so confident in that, I want you to go place a bet on any sports book, because he doesn't believe that. It sounds good to say, but I promise you.
You don't believe it? Why do he?
He said Rams. He said Rams by 13. Stop.
Some people think it's gonna be worse than that. That's not illogical.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
They had Brady down by 20.
Marcus,
wait a minute. Hold on.
That mattress guy, the guy that's been placing those crazy bets.
Are the Kansas City Chiefs a super team in your eyes?
They're a good team. No, they're not a super team though. They're a really good team though.
And guess what happened? They've got 3 of the top 5 position players at their respective position. Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill are all top 5 at their respective positions. Absolutely. The Cincinnati Bengals erased an 18-point deficit on the road in a championship game. So for someone like Kevin Hood or anyone else to sit there and say the Rams are going to smoke them by 13 points when we just saw them struggle with Jimmy Garoppolo and San Francisco a week ago is preposterous.
Don't do San Francisco like that. Don't do San Francisco got some dogs. San Francisco roster is very talented as well. Like, let's not act like San Francisco rosters is like some garbage.
Wait a minute.
Don't act like Cal Shanahan is some garbage now.
Offensively,
49ers
they
are not
win in
better
spite
than
of Jimmy
Packers
G.
or I guess.
The Niners
Say it
win in
again?
spite of Jimmy G. Outside of Debo Samuel on the offensive side of the football, you got the tackle who you would take, but who else scares you?
Kittle, Ayuk, Mitchell. Like, come on, like those are players. Those are players. Yeah, Ayuk. Yeah, he was a first-round receiver. He's extremely talented. Ayuk, yeah, Debo. You said outside of all these guys, yeah. If you take away their whole damn offense, of course they ain't that good. Like outside of Debo, the best left tackle, the George Kittle, and Mitchell, who had 1,200 yards and only played like 12 games. Like outside of all these guys, they're actually really not that good. Well, damn, Marcus, if you take away all the players, of course they ain't that good.
That's not what I'm saying. Let me answer the question. The reason the Rams are gonna lose this game is ironically the reason they're in this game, which is with the addition of Matthew Stafford. They brought him here to help them win a Super Bowl. He's going to be the reason they lose it because he's either going to throw a late interception or he's going to have a critical blunder at the most inopportune time. He had one last.
What precedent is that? Like, where are you basing this on? John, get in here, man. John, what
you said what am I basing on?
I didn't want to go against the LA guy, but I thought he was going to go for his new spot. I didn't think he was running with Broadway Joe right now.
Yeah, where's the California love at, Mr. LA Mark?
You set tripping, Marcus. you big time set tripping. They gonna make you come back east. But I'm like to Jeff's point, like the Rams have the pieces. I just want Odell to get one just because like the way the whole Giants thing went down. But I'm just saying that Matthew Stafford, that's what they got him for. They got him for these big playoff wins. Has he been here before? Obviously not. But he's going to show that the stage isn't too big for him. Like the Rams are going to win. I don't think it's going to be lopsided like people are saying, like because the Chiefs have the same amount of firepower. So for the Bengals to erase that deficit like they did, you can't really kind of put them to the side. Like the Bengals don't make it a game, but Rams are going to be Super Bowl champs.
Okay, Mr. LA Mar, what you got? And that was another thing. Kevin Hood brought up a good point. He said, "Bro, how are they going to block Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and Aaron Donald? They gave up 9 sacks against the Titans. They gave up 9 sacks against the Titans.
I'm gonna break a cardinal rule that I hate doing when debating, which is referencing a game that has nothing to do with another game that I'm about to talk about. If you recall, and I'm in no way, shape, or form comparing Joe Burrow to Tom Brady, heading into the
but you're about to. But go ahead. You're about to. But go ahead.
I'm not. Heading into the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl, the Eagles boasted a top 5 defense, and their defensive line was viewed as legitimate. Tom Brady went out there and dropped 41 points on them and scored and threw for 500-plus yards of offense. So when everyone keeps saying
they lost, Marcus, and they lost that game too, by the way.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is everyone's like, well, I don't understand how the Bengals are gonna just block Aaron Donald. First of all, Aaron Donald's name was barely called in Super Bowl 53. Now, I get he was going against Belichick, the GOAT, but what I'm saying is he has moments where he disappears in big games. Now, if you're going to tell me...
What about the NFC Championship game? What about the NFC Championship game? Did he disappear in that game? When it mattered the most, 49ers need one drive to win the game. Who made the play to end the game?
Well, Leonard
Just
Floyd...
answer the question before you get into it. Who made the play to win the game?
I just answered it. Leonard Floyd got to Jimmy Garoppolo first. He did.
I'm about to throw my phone, man. I got to send this message.
Wait a minute. Secondly, Jimmy Garoppolo was the one who inexplicably threw an underhand pass as he was about to get sacked.
I mean, that ain't Aaron Donald's fault. Aaron Donald was the one dragging him to the ground.
So what I'm hearing, Jeff, is you have Rams 40-12, and John, you have Rams 28-21.
No, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's just
it'll be close.
I like Burrow. Yeah, I do like Burrow, and I think Cincinnati can win this game. But just to go, first of all, your whole thing about what you think Burrow can do against the Rams is all based on Tom Brady and the Patriots. That is blowing my mind. It's like, Tom Brady came back on the Eagles. Aaron Donald didn't do nothing against the Patriots. It's like, this is Tom Brady and Belichick. You're talking about Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow.
I can't let you get away with that, Jeff. That's not.
Is that not what you said? John, correct me. Is that what he said or not? Like,
that's not what I said. You misrepresented my position. We saw Joe Burrow get sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans.
Absolutely.
The team was able to keep the game close enough for their kicker to make a field goal to win the game. What I'm saying is, if the Bengals are able to keep the game close, Matthew Stafford has shown you in his past, he will throw you the football. I promise you, it's coming. I said it last week with Jimmy Garoppolo. I said, trust me. I said, Jimmy Garoppolo comes.
It threw San Francisco the bone.
He's a good quarterback up until it's time for him to be a good quarterback. That's the analogy I use.
What I will say, though, is that Tennessee nor the Raiders have an offense like the Rams. Now Kansas City,
we can agree on that.
They don't have an offense. Now, Kansas City does, and Kansas City was getting after. One thing I will credit Cincinnati is their coaching staff is really, really good because they make adjustments at halftime. They made the adjustments against Kansas City. Kansas City also hurt themselves by doing that stupid play at the end of the half. Instead of going for the end zone, they throw the ball. They're on the 1 yard line. They throw the ball outside the end zone. Just made no sense. But Kansas City kind of derailed after that. But we've seen Kansas City do this in other games, like in other games that matter, kind of derailing. Patrick Mahomes, his greatest asset is also his greatest weakness. He doesn't play within the structure of the game, and that helps him a lot of times. Yeah. And a lot of times it gets him in some trouble, and it got him in some trouble against Cincinnati. And when you see a team rallying like the Bengals did, that's not the same with Stafford. I think he plays a little more controlled. I think he doesn't go back 30 yards like Mahomes did when they were in the red zone. Like, so these kind of things. Now, I think it'll be close. But I do think the Rams are talented enough to beat the Bengals. I think talent will win out in the end. I think McVay being there before will win out in the end. I think guys like Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, I like superstars versus like young up and coming stars. Like Burrow and Chase are stars. Like they're stars in the making. But these dudes are like Hall of Famers. like Aaron Donald is a Hall of Famer. Aaron Donald's a Hall of Famer.
Wait. My bad. I thought you said
on Matthew Stafford.
I'm about to say, hell no. We're not about to do that. Hell no.
I mean, if he wins on Sunday.
Stafford can sneak in there if he wins on Sunday.
No.
Why not?
We gotta stop doing this. The Hall of
Fame. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just like want to hear your take on this, by the way.
No, yeah, because I feel like people keep doing this where it's like, if a guy plays long enough and he amasses enough stats and he's able to squeak out one Super Bowl championship during his time in the league, that makes him a cinch Hall of Famer. And it's like, no, the Hall of Fame is supposed to be reserved for the elite of the elite. No one would ever confuse Matthew Stafford or Matt Ryan or Eli Manning with being elite quarterbacks. And how I evaluate whether a quarterback is elite or not is when you were actively playing. Were you ever considered a top 5? The answer to that is no for Matt Stafford, Eli Manning, and Matt Ryan, right? Do you have any MVP awards? Matt Ryan, does he have one?
One.
Yeah.
Just
one, right? Eli Manning, 0. Matthew Stafford, 0. What people are going to do is they're going to point to Matthew Stafford's situation in Detroit. Well, Marcus, he wasn't playing with a good team. At some point, you've got to carry and shoulder some level of responsibility. I don't want to hear
some level, not all of it, though. When you're playing for an inept organization and an inept franchise, that seen their 2 best players in the history of the organization quit early because they played for the like this is historic. Like Detroit is historically bad. They had 2 of the best players at their position ever. Barry Sanders in the 90s, Calvin Johnson in the 2000s, 2010s or whatever. And they quit because they were like, yo, to hell with this. Like, to hell with playing for this team being garbage every year. Like, then they're firing coaches every year. And those dudes still produced and still were like locks in the Hall of Fame, only playing under 20 years combined, right? So Stafford had to deal with that as well. In the first year he gets out of Detroit, he goes to the Super Bowl and potentially wins it.
Wait a minute. Situation matters.
Absolutely.
If someone wants to make a case for Matthew Stafford's candidacy in the Hall of Fame, do it without using the word longevity, because that's the only argument you have. Like I said, He has no individual accolades that are worth mentioning, like zero. So other than he threw for a bunch of stats and yards, okay, whoop-de-doo. Like what? Like give me something more substantive to make his case. And the answer is there's not a case. I don't care if he wins on Sunday because the criteria can't be, well, he's got a Super Bowl Hall of ring now. That means he's a lock to get in. From a talent perspective, Matthew Stafford can throw the football. We know that. But would you ever look at Matthew Stafford and say, damn, that's a generational can't miss type of guy? No, he's never been that. He's solid. He's never been
in Detroit. He's never been in Detroit. But if he plays the next 4 years for the Rams and they win this year, maybe make it back to another, potentially win another one in like 3, like if he plays the next, say, because quarterback's playing forever now. Say he plays 5 years in LA and he walks out with 2 Super Bowls. Now, this is a big what if, obviously. With the numbers he accumulated in Detroit, the numbers he's going to accumulate with the Rams is just going to be bananas. And then he could potentially walk away with 1 after Sunday and maybe even 2. I don't know, Marcus. Like I don't know.
So if Stafford loses on Sunday, then what's the argument? It's I see. I knew he wasn't the Hall of Famer, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. Well, I mean, I don't. If I had to vote, I wouldn't vote Stafford in. At least not right now. He wins Sunday, it could change my mind. He goes back to even if he loses Sunday, the fact that he made it there, okay, that's a notch. Like that matters. Winning the NFC Championship, beating Brady to do it. You know what I mean? Like that matters.
Making it to the Super Bowl is a notch. Jimmy Garoppolo made it to the Super Bowl. He ain't no damn Hall of Famer.
He's not Matthew Stafford. Come on, Marcus. You better than that. You better than that. He ain't no Matthew Stafford.
What is Matthew Stafford?
Come on, bro. He's not Matthew Stafford, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on, man.
What is Matthew Stafford?
What? He's a talented, very, very talented quarterback. He's thrown for 5,000 yards several times. He's what a 3, 4, 5, 6-time Pro Bowler. I'm pretty sure he's made an All-Pro team. Like Jimmy G's done none of that. He's won a bunch of games. Jimmy G's won a bunch of games. I can't take that away from him. But he's none of those things. Like he's none of those things. All the numbers that Calvin Johnson put up, he was being thrown the ball from Matthew. Somebody had thrown the ball, Matthew Stafford. Like, and they both did that while in Detroit. And he did it in Detroit. Like he was clearly talented. He's been in Detroit for 13 years.
What did it amount to?
I mean, they played for the Lions. I'm agreeing. They didn't amount to nothing. But in this 1 year, he leaves Detroit. After 1 year, he goes to the Super Bowl. And then in 1 year, he could win the Super Bowl. So his first year, just think about that. You replace his situation, and he goes to the Super Bowl. And then after Sunday, we could be talking about you replace his situation, and he won the Super Bowl. Like, that matters. Like, who you go to, who you're drafted by, who you get. Like, if Brady never goes to New England with Belichick, he's not the Brady. Like, I think he still becomes great. But if he was in Detroit, if he was in Cincinnati, if he was, you get what I'm saying? Like quarterbacks make coaches, but coaching and coaches make quarterbacks as well. Like that matters. Like look at Garoppolo. Like Garoppolo, like you said, has been to a Super Bowl and was this close to going to another one because he played for Cal Shanahan. He went to the 49ers. Like all of that matters.
So Matthew Stafford has a rep, and then I'm gonna let John get it. Matthew Stafford has a reputation of being called Stat Padford because that's basically all he was.
One man calls him that.
No. A lot of people do that. No, because that's all he was accumulating. There was nothing else to do, right? But last week, if you remember, Stafford went deep on the ball, and the 49ers DB dropped it. And I told people, this is who he is. He will give you a chance to win the game because of his own personal mistakes. I promise you on Sunday, he's either going to throw one at the worst time, or he's going to almost throw one that's either not caught or maybe a fumble. I have enough data to support this claim. It's not like this is just unfounded. I said it about Jimmy Garoppolo. I told people Jimmy Garoppolo did it in the Packers game. This is who he is. If you ask me right now, Jeff, and then I'm going to let John go, who do I trust more on Sunday in a pivotal moment? I'm taking Joey Burrow, a.k.a. Joey Shiesty, over Matthew Stafford. Not right now.
Yo, y'all are clowns, man.
Joe Shiesty, that guy too, by the way. You guys have already hit the nail on the head, but I'm gonna go with the sure thing. This is the second year in a row where the Super Bowl is hosted by a home team.
why? But what don't the Rams? What do the Bengals have that the Rams really like? Like, what can they counter that with? It's like, all right, y'all got Chase. Rams are gonna be on Chase all day. Who's gonna stop Cup? Like I'm just trying to get the football sense of, like, everything's matchups, but it's like the Rams are light years. Well, not light years, but they're pretty much ahead of the Bengals. What's the argument here? Because Matthew Stafford will have one blunder when it'll matter most. Is what you're saying, Marcus? Is that what we're counting on?
But what about the blunder that he had against Tampa Bay when he hit Cup and then they won the game off the field goal? Was that the blunder that we're talking about? Okay. What about, like, when dude did drop it, Stafford let him down and they scored and they kind of put it away and then the defense did what they're supposed to do? Is that the blunder?
Wait a minute. So a lot of times people like to give Tom Brady credit because it's like, oh, Tom Brady erased a 24-point deficit. But you know who else that is on? Matthew Stafford, because that means he didn't stop the bleeding when he was getting the ball. He actually turned the ball over in those games to give them an opportunity to get back in the game. And that is consistent with my math.
No. They fumbled 4 times. That had nothing to do with Matt Stafford. They fumbled the ball 4 times. Cooper Kupp and then Cam Akers 3 times. Let's tell the real story, Marcus.
Wait a minute. We give quarterbacks praise when the offense is clicking and doing well. Correct?
Does Stafford have anything to do with 4 fumbles? Like, I'm just like, answer that for me.
Well, when running backs fumble, was the fumble in the backfield? Was it on the handoff? Like, was the fumble?
You didn't watch the game. He fumbled the ball. He took it. He got tackled and fumbled 3 times. Cam Akers, then Cooper Kupp caught the ball, then fumbled. Like that had nothing to do with Stafford. And then Brady, like Brady does, took advantage of those turnovers and they got right back in the game.
So you wanna give Matthew Stafford? John is bringing the baby on camera.
I want to get my secret weapon. You guys
overload.
You want his Nick Wright stuff. You want to give Stafford credit for hitting Cooper Kupp, who was wide open as Broadway at 3 a.m. in the morning in New York City. I'm not sure what the hell the Buccaneers defensive backs are doing, but my point is this. If the game stays close, what I'm saying is that favors Cincinnati because Joe Burrow is cool under pressure. Being down to Patrick Mahomes, 18 points on the road in the AFC Championship game and winning is crazy. Now, don't get me started on Patrick Mahomes. By the way, speaking of Patrick, has anyone checked his bank account? Because there's no way the check didn't clear because after I saw his performance on Sunday, he had to have been paid to lose that football game. There is no way the best quarterback, allegedly, in the game had 4 plays in which he was sacked for 5 yards, sacked for 15 yards, fumbled, overthrew a receiver, and then intercepted on his 4th play. There's no way a quarterback of his caliber could have a 4-play sequence as bad as that.
Yeah, man, it was really bad. Pat Mahomes he said at the Pro Bowl, which was a joke, by the way, but at the Pro Bowl, he said that he will never get over the loss to the Bengals and that the only way that he could possibly even think about getting over the loss is if they win another Super Bowl. So who knows when that will happen. So Marcus has got the Bengals. John and myself has got the Rams. We will revisit this after the game on Sunday, 6:30 Eastern. 3:30 LA time because those folks do things differently out there. But at a Super Bowl 56, and I can't wait to see who comes away. Now we're transitioning over to everybody's favorite sport that we actually don't talk about enough simply because NFL is just kind of taking over everything. But it is the NBA. There is a pair of teams in New York that aren't doing too well. There's another team out in the West Coast where Marcus resides. They ain't doing too well either. It's the Los Angeles Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets, and John's favorite, the New York Knicks. But, John, what is going on with Brooklyn, man? They're currently on a 7-game losing streak. They're currently looking inept, currently looking really, really bad. But what's happening with them?
If you're going to make me the spokesperson for the Nets, then
I just want to hear what's happening in Brooklyn, man. And it is – and also, is James Harden – going to leave?
Oh yeah, James Harden's out of there. I just don't want to go to Philly. Wherever he wants to go ahead. Like we said yesterday, he'll probably go, to Atlanta or somewhere with top elite we'll call them exotic
gentlemen's clubs.
The gentlemen's clubs. Yeah, like he'll probably go there. But yeah, right now the Nets it's not what you think it is on Atlantic Ave right now. It's just not it. So
what's the vibe in Brooklyn, John? What's the vibe out there, man? How are they feeling about that?
He's a Queens native. He wouldn't know.
I'm a Queens guy. I'm a Queens guy, but I reside in Brooklyn, and
that's why I'm saying, like, I knew, yeah.
But the only thing that's sticking right now in Brooklyn is the snow. Nothing else. The Nets not sticking. Nobody bang. I'm not gonna say nobody bang with them right now, but it's like they going through it. I mean, accordingly, Kyrie's still only playing road games, so he's not here either. So it's like, it is what it is at this point. So, but yeah, the Nets not it. Did I expect them to go on a 7-game losing streak? Never. Do I expect them to go against these depleted teams and get cooked the way they are? No. But am I happy to see it? Of course I am, because who wouldn't be? So, but that's just the Nets. I'll leave it to you guys. Talk about
what about the Lakers? Okay, John. How you feel about LA? How you feel about the Lakers and what's going on with them? They're starting to cook something up a little bit. They're starting to get it together a little bit. When you say.
All right, huge one on Saturday. My top 3 things are Malik Monk deserves a statue in front of Staples Center. That's the first thing.
Here goes the
second off, I don't know if there's a refund policy or something like that, but whatever you guys are paying Russ should be distributed to the ticket people, the custodial staff, the concession stand, merchandise, whatever you guys are paying him. See if there's a way to chop that up, because there's no way you guys are paying someone over $35 million and you're benching them. The two just don't go together. So I don't know what that is, how you guys will fix that moving forward. But if the way of winning is benching Westbrook, that's not going to be good for you guys. And my last plea is to anyone in the NBA: do not do a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, because for what? They're a dumpster fire right now. The worst super team ever assembled. Do not make a deal with them. Let them live. Let them soak in their own transgressions. But my rant is
Mr. L.A. Moore, do you have a response?
I do. I want to see, your audience doesn't know because we don't hop on enough, but John Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen, suffers from what you call low sports self-esteem.
Oh no.
And basically, as America's #1 sports therapist, a lot of times when people hear sports therapy, you think of people treating athletes, but as America's #1 sports therapist, Marcus Amar, I'm here to treat fans suffering from low sports self-esteem. So I'm going to attempt to do that with John right now. I don't know if it's possible because the Knicks have been a dumpster fire for as long as I can recall, and I'm only 28 years old. But let's talk about the Nets. John is right on a couple of points, which is
a breakthrough today.
The Nets, it's time we have an honest conversation about what is happening in Brooklyn.
Preacher. Let's go.
That's a fact.
Because there's a ton of attention paid to the team out west, and understandably so. Nobody moves the needle like LeBron James in any sport. I don't care whether you're talking international or domestic, so we get it, and rightfully so. But there's a lot of attention paid specifically to the Lakers. Everything coming out of the NBA starts and stops with what's happening with the Lakers. The Nets, on the other hand, have been able to squeak under the radar because, again, it's the NBA media reaffirming what everybody who's objectively been watching already knows. And it's that it will never be Kevin Durant's league. I don't care how talented he is as a basketball player. His shoulders are not broad enough, quite literally and figuratively, to shoulder the responsibility of being the NBA's quote-unquote best player in the game. In year 19, it is still LeBron. He's the most talked about athlete in the NBA for a reason. And with that being said, the Nets experiment, if you want to even call it that at this point, has been a disaster. And it's been a disaster for several reasons. Their best player, as of late, has injury issues. Kyrie Irving, as much as I like him, marches to the tune of his own drum. And that, to some people, could be a little shaky. And
controversial.
Lack of commitment because that's what I call it. James Harden is not interested in being an NBA champion because for people to tell me we're out of shape, for people to tell me he's out of shape and that he has to play his way into shape, where was this same energy when he was out gallivanting in Paris with Lil Baby over the summer? It doesn't make sense. Literally, for him to be what's considered a thick basketball player is preposterous because
pause. Yeah, we're talking about some pause. Whoa.
It was coming.
Whoa. Whoa, this is whoa.
It literally doesn't make sense. Basketball is a
sport. The only thing that needs to be thick is IG models and exotic dancers. My man Marcus brought out the thick basketball player talking about a man. I was like, whoa, it's a big pause there.
No, because all jokes aside, fellas, it doesn't make sense that he's playing a cardio sport and he's getting bigger. It is an oxymoron. It's oxymoronic.
But man, Marcus, to hell with all of that, bro. Let's be honest. Like, that don't even matter. Like, Shaq came in out of shape too. James Harden, if he can come in plump and he dropped 30 and 10, then he's doing his job. I don't give a damn what his shape look like as long as he's hooping. He just not hooping.
Wait, Jeff, let me stop you there real quick. It's not about him not being in shape. It's about his approach to the game with a certain level of respect and commitment. It shows me where his mindset is. His mouth is saying, hey, I want to be an NBA champion, but his body and his mind are not following what he's saying.
Everybody can't be Kobe or Jordan or LeBron or, you know what I mean? Like, everybody don't have that mindset when they come to the game, but some folks can just get out of bed and hoop. James Harden, one of them dudes. Kyrie Irving, one of them dudes. They could care. Like, if basketball ended for them today, they'd be fine. But they get up and they can just hoop. So I don't think you have to have a Jordan mentality. Now, obviously, you'd love for your best player to be like a Jordan or be like Kobe or be like LeBron when they spending all this money on their body or Giannis, where you see the clear development where it's like, yo, he used to look like this and now he looks like this. Like, yo, that tells me he's doing something different. But you can also be a Kevin Durant who just wakes up and hoops, a Kyrie Irving who wakes up hoop. The Nets' only problem is their dudes aren't there. They're either healthy or the protocols keeping them out and playing games. If all three of the dudes were there, they'd be fine. But the fact that they haven't been there, and this is going into what is this, year 3 with KD and Kyrie? And they've never been on the court together, essentially. Like, and then they added James Harden last year, so year 2 with all three, and year 3 with KD and Kyrie, and it seems like they've never all played together. Like quite literally never. Like, I really feel like they never have. That's the problem, and that's why it's a failure. I'm not saying it's a failure because those guys are just stink. It's just like this thing called COVID happened, and Kyrie has standing on his laurels and said, hey, I'm good on getting a jab. And then KD is now becoming kind of injury prone. And now James Harden is kind of halfway injury prone, halfway look like he don't want to be there. And so, it's a lot. And so James Harden, like, yo, I didn't think I was coming in signing up where it was just me. If I wanted to do this, I could have stayed in Houston. You know what I mean? Like, it's just me at home games, and then road games, I get Kyrie. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, if he's not taking personal reasons, you know what I mean? Like, because he missed like 8 games last year because of personal reasons. So he's like, yo, I didn't think this is what I was signing up for. I thought I was signing up for all 3 of us. And it just hasn't been that way. It just hasn't felt.
They didn't need James Harden. I understand that he was supposed to be an insurance policy, but James Harden and Embiid would have been as formidable as a duo as Kyrie and KD. KD and Kyrie were fine. They were clicking like this.
But you know, they weren't going to send Harden to Philly though. They weren't going to because Morey worked
right, because he was at the time the Rockets owner was cutting off his nose to spite his face, which is why I tell people all the time: if you're emotionally charged, you perpetually lose in this world. You need to think logically and rationally, because now Houston is a dumpster fire. They're unwatchable. They have some good pieces, but on a nightly basis, but for the most part, they're going to get smacked around.
Young talent doesn't win an NBA. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And Harden is now unhappy in Brooklyn with his role, because I'm pretty sure a part of him is like, damn, I got to take a backseat to a part-time dude, and now a dude that's not healthy, even though that's my man's. But it's like, I don't think people remember Harden went on a stretch when he was with the Rockets where he had over 30 points in 30 consecutive games. And in those games, he was dropping 50-point triple-doubles, 40-point triple-doubles. And they went from 14th in the Western Conference to 2nd with PJ Tucker being out and Chris Paul missing time.
Now, I will have to say this though. Like Harden's in his 30s. James has been there. Now he's been there alone, and he leads the NBA in assists, but he's only averaging about 22 a game. Has James just changed? Like maybe he's not the same player that he was when he was doing that in Houston. I mean, James Harden been in the league a good little minute now. Like, do you guys think that James Harden potentially his level of play has diminished at all?
Ooh. I wouldn't say it's diminished, but it's to the point where it's kind of he's a little annoying to watch right now. And I guess
and they took away those weak little fouls too, by the way.
Rule change might be that's the thing I was talking about, the other day. It's like I get why the rule change would affect players like Trae Young, people like they're small guys. He's still a husky dude, you feel me? So it's like maybe he can still get those calls, but refs are kind of stuck in their way. So I don't know. James Harden's tough to watch. The Nets as a whole are tough to watch. So it's just he's kind of guilty by association.
Mr. LA Mar, you hit real heavy on the Nets. But what about the team in LA? What about the team in LA, man? What's going on? John said they should take Russ's salary and distribute it among the workers in Staples Center or Crypto Center or whatever it's called now.
What's funny?
You should go into crypto.
I actually had a conversation with my brother about this yesterday. Can you get mad at someone when they're consistently doing what they've always done and what you expect from them? So for Laker Nation, when Russ came on board initially, everyone was like, I don't know how this is going to work. Russ drives me crazy. He gives me a headache. He makes me want to pull my hair out. And again, for those Westbrook fans out there, no one is attacking him personally. There's no athlete in any sport that plays as hard as he does on a nightly basis. Not a single soul. The only person you could put in this category would be Giannis Antetokounmpo on a nightly basis. Russ, to his credit, does not miss games. Russ is as durable as they come. I think he's only had one major injuries in his entire career.
Shout out to Pat Bev for that. Yeah, Pat Bev took his knee out.
Availability has never been an issue when it comes to Russell Westbrook. All anybody has ever asked of him is for him to slow down when he's playing, because the thing that makes him so dynamic as a player is also his biggest hindrance. It leads to turnovers. He plays too frenetic. Like the pace is too up, down. He needs to learn how to switch gears, which if you do anything in life, you can't be constantly like, okay, like we'll just go. That's all Russell Westbrook knows. And it drives you crazy watching him. But as a competitor, love watching Russ, loves the energy he brings. I think the Lakers are like fourth in transition points or fast break points when they were like towards the bottom last year. So someone can fact check that. That'd be greatly appreciated. But that's what Russ brings to the table. As for the Lakers, their championship aspirations don't even start and stop with Russ or LeBron. It starts and stops with Anthony Davis. It's as simple as that. If Anthony Davis is not the dominant big man that you all told me he was, which I got a lot of flack for calling him a top 7 player a couple of years ago, the Lakers have no chance of winning a championship. 0. If Anthony Davis is playing at the level we know he's capable of with LeBron, who I have no worries about, the Lakers can beat anybody in the West and anybody in the East.
Yeah, the Lakers right now are 9th in the standings, so that's a play-in spot, right? Like when you're 9th, you do the playing game.
7 would play 10 and 8 would play 9.
Okay, so yeah, they're 9th in the West, 26-28 overall record. They're on the road. They're 9-16, so they're terrible on the road. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, and it's just been a struggle bus the entire time.
And they barely beat the Knicks. Don't forget that part.
They erased a 22-point deficit again. That was a huge win for the Lakers. Huge.
Tibbs likes the Lakers, so he was doing that. Okay, I know you don't like the Lakers either.
Yeah. So like that's the Lakers, man. I don't know how you fix it, man. That's the thing. Like you're in the middle of the season. You are who you are. You said it starts and stops with AD. You don't know about AD's availability. Now LeBron's getting hurt, and LeBron's an old man. Like, I mean, he's old. Like, he's 37, so like that matters. And you're getting like Russ in the playoffs only gets worse. like this doesn't get better in the playoffs. I mean, I've seen it. I've watched him for a long time. I watched him collapse against Portland, and then I watched them collapse against Utah, and I watched them collapse against like in the Eastern Conference last year with the Wizards. Like he doesn't get better in the playoffs. You know, some people level a game turns up in the playoffs. They're just like playoff kind of players. Kawhi Leonard's one of those guys, and Kevin Durant's one of those guys, even though he's already great. But Russ typically doesn't get better in the playoffs, and that doesn't bode well for LA because they're already not playing good. They're going to have to play in a play-in game is what it looks like because they're not – I don't see them getting any higher than the 7 seed, who is Minnesota right now, and they're, 3 games back behind that.
We can overtake Minnesota. Don't do that. Stop.
Minnesota's division is way weaker than the Pacific Division.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't see them rising above the 7 seed. But the 7 seed, 6 seed is Denver. Let me just go ahead and share the screen and everybody can take a look at it. Let's see. We'll look at the Western Conference standings. This is what's going on right now. Phoenix is clearing ahead, number 1, with Golden State quickly behind. Then you got the Grizzlies, the Jazz. Here's the Lakers all the way down here. And you got the Jazz at 32 wins. So we're talking about you're not going to catch Dallas, I don't think. Down the stretch, you're looking between 6 and 10. You know what I mean? 6 and 9. I don't see you going slipping past the Pelicans. But I don't really see them getting up here with the Nuggets. I don't see they're going to be fighting for one of these 3 spots right here. And so that means they're going to be playing in a playing game. That's going to be rough, man. That's not good. And the more games for the Lakers, the worst. It's not better. It's the worst because when they got people with injuries, they got people that don't play better in playoff situations. I don't know. Marcus, try to convince me because you said the Lakers still going to win championship. And I don't know what moon rocks he was on when you put that out there. But
he meant the play-in championship. He didn't the NBA championship because there's no way. There's no way.
You guys are funny. Here's the thing. I promise you, nobody in the Western Conference wants to see AD operating at his best and LeBron doing LeBron thing. I promise you. Because as great as the Warriors and Suns are, they have not run into that juggernaut. In the LeBron and AD era, the Warriors were a dumpster fire when they first assembled, and the Lakers steamrolled the NBA during the year of COVID when they won a championship. Steamrolled. The Suns weren't that good yet because I don't think they had Chris Paul. But I'm telling you, LeBron and AD operating at their ultimate best is a problem for any team in a 7-game series, especially when you have LeBron, the ultimate chess player, being able to make adjustments and having a day or 2 in between games to singular focus in on one opponent. The Warriors, we know this to be true. As great as Andrew Wiggins is playing, if they're going against a supremely talented wing player, whether it's a KD, LeBron, or Kawhi, they are going to struggle because Stephen Clay cannot hold LeBron or KD or Kawhi or an Anthony Davis. The Warriors are going to have to beat you with a collection of people, which, again, do you trust Andrew Wiggins in a big playoff spot? I don't know. I've never seen that. I mean, I know what Steph Clay and Draymond bring to the table, but again, I'm just saying the Lakers, when they make the playoffs, because they will, it's not a matter of if, it's when, will be the most dangerous seed, whatever number seed they fall in at. It could be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. They'll be the most dangerous seed to enter at that position in playoff history.
He's having trouble believing you, brother.
Marcus, I've heard this before, though. I heard there's a bunch of ifs in your story. If LeBron does,
I said when they make the playoffs. I didn't say if.
No, I'm saying, but if they're playing at their peak and if they're doing this, and I heard this before, and it was just last year when it was when they're playing like if they playing their best. Look, they had the Suns on the ropes, and then Anthony Davis
got hurt.
He's what he's known for doing. That's not a surprise. Just like he got hurt this year, and he's trying to play his way back into shape now, and you're hoping that he's peaking come playoff time. But history tells us it's not going to happen. That's what history tells. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. And, me being a Lakers fan, I hope it does happen. But I don't know if that is a realistic option at this point. I just don't. I can't put my eggs in the Anthony Davis basket. Pause. I can't think that is going to be a certainty come playoff time. And I just told you Russell Westbrook gets worse in the playoffs. That's a fact. Like
wait a minute.
So you get a worse Westbrook
are you
and a
guys
shaky AD.
Are you guys moving him Thursday, or is that you guys stuck with him?
Yes, the Lakers will land either Ben Simmons or Damian Lillard by the trade deadline. But back to Jeff's point.
What are you guys gonna do with Damian Lillard?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What are we gonna do? We're gonna win the championship.
You think he's sitting out right now? He can't play. He's hurt.
No, we'll work with him as he rehabs and nurses his way back to health. That's not an issue.
Now, if you get Damian Lillard in the mix, okay, then I'm back on board. The roster is currently constructed where Malik Monk is your best player at times and Stanley Johnson is your best player at times, and you're relying heavily on guys like Avery Bradley. Yeah, nah.
Wait a minute. So the Warriors.
This is why I can't stand
Wait a minute. So the Warriors can depend on guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Gary Payton.
Who's a lottery pick? Who's a lottery pick? Is in his first year, second year, something like that.
So they can be integral parts of their rotation. Jonathan Kuminga and Gary Payton in second. But you mad at the Lakers for depending on Malik Monk, who got the blinky when he shoots, and Avery Bradley, who's a proven veteran? I'm confused.
Avery Bradley, who's like 107 years old, Carmelo Anthony, who's like 110, LeBron, who's often injured now, and Anthony Davis often injured. Like, yeah. Like having young dudes that are like 19, 20. Well, LeBron just missed the last 8 games.
That's true. LeBron's never injured. He takes time off.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. You know what's funny? I like how
people just missed the last 8 games. Am I bugging when I'm telling that? Like, he just came back.
Wait a minute. He did miss the last 8 games, but I like how people are suddenly attaching this. Oh, LeBron is starting to get hurt. Now, he's been more hurt with the Lakers than he has been in his 2 stints in Cleveland and with the Heat. But
yeah, he's Iron Man.
Klay Thompson missed 700 or 900 days of basketball. Steph Curry has known to have been dinged up. Kevin Durant has had a major surgery. Kyrie Irving has had major surgery. Westbrook has had a major surgery. LeBron's never had a major surgery, ever.
LeBron's also older than them, Marcus. He's played way more basketball and he's in year 19. Like, yeah, you're right.
He takes better care of himself than all of those guys I just named.
And I'm agreeing with you. But at some point, Father Time does catch up to you. Like at some point.
About Tom Brady, it never caught him. Never. So it doesn't always catch up to everybody.
He's a quarterback. Like, what? It's totally different. It's totally different sports. LeBron runs and jumps for a living. Tom Brady throws a football. Like, it's different. And he didn't get hit very often.
Wait a minute. But Father Time has caught up to LeBron on the defensive end. No denying that. But offensively,
through the injuries. Like, he's been hurt since he's been with LA. He's been hurt more than he's ever been hurt in his entire career, Marcus. Like we gotta admit that.
Wait a minute. Hurt and dinged and nicked are 2 different things, okay? I'm pretty sure that he could have come back sooner from his most recent injury, but he's like, I'm going to slow walk this because I am up there in age, and I know for the long haul, there's going to be more aspects. Think about it. The man missed 8 games of basketball. And, Jeff, I don't know if you've ever played basketball. People always say when you come back from missing basketball, you got to get your legs under you. He was 13 of 24, 29.13 rebounds and 10 assists after missing 8 games.
He's a freak. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. He's a freak. But going into last year's playoffs, he had come off an injury. And then the bubble, he got 3 months off before going into the bubble. So that kind of helped him. So he's injury free. But then before that, with Lonzo and them, he missed like 2 months of basketball. Like, so the injuries outside of the bubble where he got 3 months off, he's been hurt every year he's been with the Lakers. Like he's had some sort of injury, some sort of nicky knack or whatever, which that had never happened before. And I'm not saying he's injury prone. I'm not saying he's injury prone like Anthony Davis. Like, that's injury prone. Like, that's a dude who's just gonna get hurt. You can't rely on Anthony Davis because he's always gonna get hurt. I'm not saying LeBron's that, but LeBron is up in age, and to rely on guys on 10-day contracts and guys who were shunned away from their old teams. It's not a recipe to win a championship, bro. Like, they're like people like that. That's not how you win championships. You talk about the Warriors. For one, the Warriors are second in the West. You can't compare the Lakers and the Warriors right now. Like, they're second in the West, and one of the best players who is hurt right now, they're still second in the West. So you can't. They're not on the same. They're not on the same trajectory.
They're not winning the championship.
I mean, I'm not saying they are, but their chances are a lot higher than the Lakers. Like, what you say? I think Phoenix is the best team in basketball right now, but the Warriors' chances are a whole lot higher than the Lakers.
The Suns are not better than the Warriors.
And that's debatable. But those are the 2 of the better teams in the basketball. Whereas the Lakers ain't better. Is ninth in the West. Like the Lakers ain't better than either one.
Again, all you gotta do is get in. And again, I know people are gonna say you said the last year about the Lakers. The Lakers were in position to beat the Suns until Anthony Davis got hurt. I don't understand that people have selective amnesia.
He got hurt, Marcus, but he did get hurt.
And just the same way this year, the Suns could lose DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul, who's known to be injured, or Mikal Bridges. The pendulum could swing, so anyone can get hurt, theoretically speaking.
And don't forget, Russ is on the team now too. Like we can't. Like I have to continue to point that out because Russ gets worse in the playoffs. Like he actually gets worse.
You guys love Russ. Remember,
Jeff? Have we ever seen Russ as a third option on a playoff team? The answer to that question is no. He's always been.
I have this year. I've seen him this year, or what he's supposed to be this year, and they're ninth in the West.
On a playoff team.
They're ninth in the West. Like this team was supposed to be a championship team, and they're ninth in the West with the way he's playing. So imagine in the playoffs when the game's in the line.
I promise you, if it, like Russ and Frank Vogel are convenient scapegoats, they're not the problem. Anthony Davis's health is more of an issue, along with the roster personnel. Because think about it, if the Lakers had more shooters, right, which you blame LeBron and Rob Pelinka for that. Russ is giving you what he's given you for the last 13, 14 seasons he's been in the league. High energy, high pace, turnovers, assists.
Waste of time.
And moments where it's like, damn.
Waste of time.
That's what he's giving you.
So I'm saying come playoffs. Like you just don't cut that off, Marcus. Like you just don't flip a switch and all that stuff is fixed. Like you had a season long full of inconsistencies, a season full of mediocrity, and you think come playoff time that just goes away? I don't see it that way. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it that way.
Jeff, all I'm saying is I promise you, seeing LeBron in a 7-game series with Anthony Davis and him healthy is going to be tough to beat. They just is what it is. I don't care who the opponent is. And you
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I just don't know if AD's going to be healthy. I just don't know if he's going to be healthy. I don't. Nothing from this season has told me that he's going to be healthy throughout the duration, whether it's one series, two series, all series. Like last year, he couldn't make it out of the first series. I can't tell you how long this man is going to be healthy. I just don't know.
That's a fair point. And while I can't prove that the Lakers would have beaten Anthony Davis had he stayed healthy, all I leave people with is this. The Lakers were up 2-1. Anthony Davis went out in the second half of Game 4. They lost. He missed Game 5 in its entirety. They lost. In Game 6, he played 5 minutes. They lost. So if you notice a trend, Anthony Davis scored 11 points Game 1. He scored 34 in Game 2 and Game 3. They win both of those games. In Games 4, 5, and 6, he either missed it completely or missed it 75% of the way, and they lost all 3 of those games. So one would look at it objectively and say, oh, when Anthony Davis played, the Suns were not close to the Lakers. When he missed time and wasn't available, the Suns were better than the Lakers. So who's the tip? Clearly, that means with Anthony Davis, the Lakers were better, even with the bevy of young players and talent Phoenix had. And the reason I say the Warriors are better than the Suns is because Steph Curry owns Chris Paul. And we saw it last year. When the Suns got up 2-0 on the Bucks, Giannis took over the series, and Chris Paul doesn't have take over a series capability because he's a little guy.
Does Booker? Does Devin Booker?
Not yet.
I mean, it's a serious question. Do you think Devin Booker? John saying no?
No.
You don't think so? John, I want to show you something really quick, John. So this was something that came across my TL, man, and I want you to do a play-by-play of this. Like, what's going on? So it looks like an assistant is showing Julius Randle something. He smacks his laptop, and then he runs up on Buddy, bro. What's my guy Kenny Payne had intervened.
If Get Me Out of New York was a person, this is who it would be, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle was doing everything in his power.
I think Get Me Out of New York would be Harden first, and this would be 1B. But
let's run it back. Oh, like what is that? Like
he looked like
crapped on Brooklyn.
He looked like he was showing him like a mixtape or something. He was like, "Yo, bro, like I'm trying to this working for the Knicks ain't it? You want to listen to my mixtapes? So not right now. Like, I need a like." So it depends, man. Like I don't know, but yeah, Randall, he's. I'm not a guy who likes to jump ship. You feel me? Like I'm a Knicks fan through and through, whatever. But it's like Randall's kind of showing why he deserves to be on the Lakers because y'all like dysfunction and then y'all like putting that together. So if y'all want to do a deal, anybody but Russ, we can make it happen. But yeah, like just send him back to LA.
The thing is, bro, Randall was like a god in New York last year, man. Y'all gave Randall the big money. He sent y'all back to the playoffs, bro. Was an all-star. Like what literally what happened? Like I haven't watched much of the Knicks. What happened? Like Trae Young sank y'all franchise back into disparity? Like what happened?
This is the thing. When you're good in New York, we let you rock. We give you a flower. New Yorkers are really good at giving you flowers. You feel me? Like we show love. But when you basuda, don't expect for us to still be cheering. Like we're gonna be like, yo, bro, like get back to your winning ways. He was kind of like, I don't like that. Tried to take a page out of my Mets book, putting the thumbs down to the fans. I said, brother, that's not ideal. New York will chew you out and get crazy with you. So I don't know. And then I'm starting to hope that all Kentucky guys aren't like that. You see where he's a product of. Sorry to whatever fans you have that are, trust the big blue. But yeah,
I'm a Louisville through. I could give it. I could care less.
Guys, man, they're either not healthy, bad sports, Rondo and Randall. So it's just like,
we can't. Ain't no Rondo slander. Rondo's from Louisville. We ain't no Rondo slander on here. That's what we're not gonna do. Bad sports. Rondo got them rings.
I apologize. You're right.
Yeah.
He got that's just it's just the kind of vibe I'm getting. So I mean, I don't mind stick with Randall, but he's giving very he's giving shady vibes. So like RJ stepping up this season. He's finally for someone who was picked 3rd overall. It's just like, yo. Like,
and now y'all don't play Reddish? Like, what's going on, man? Y'all don't even play Cam Reddish.
How do you professionally call someone a crackhead? Because that's what Tom Thibodeau's acting like. It's just like, yo, the man is stuck in his ways. I hate it.
You're gonna get Jeff show snatched. You can't call coaches crackhead. But no, Jeff, I just watched the footage. And what is Julius Randle doing? Like, first of all, that guy looks like Brad Stevens' like doppelganger. What are you doing going after an assistant?
Like his little cousin or something, yeah.
What was he showing you in that moment that had you so furious that you not only smacked his laptop, proceeded to start walking away, and then circled back? There must have been something said, and because I don't know what was said, I'm going to be sensitive to that. Yeah. But I mean, my God, the man clearly wants out, and I understand it. New York is like Philly and Boston. They're ruthless when it comes to their sports teams, and not everyone has the mental makeup to play in New York City. So you know what? If Julius Randle wants to be set free, then that's fine. And speaking of New York, the Nets were much better when they were in New Jersey. And as a Brooklyn native, it pains me to say that. But this version of the Brooklyn Nets is not it. It's not it.
No. Not at all. It. But that's the thing. Well, I always felt like I was like, yo, when are the assistant coaches are gonna hold, Randle accountable? Because Tibbs is just like, all right, cool. Like I'll give you your 35 plus minutes. I'll give Obi Toppin, his 11 minutes. You guys have the same points, but I'm still gonna play Randall. I'm like, yo, don't the assistant coaches get the stat sheets after every quarter? Aren't they recording? Don't they see this? And that assistant coach, big ups to him, finally was like, yo, I'm gonna do it today, guys. Randall. I don't think it was a good idea, but I appreciate his courage.
Yeah, man, that is hilarious. And like I said, Kenny Payne in Louisville, you guys are going to lose one of those assistant coaches, hopefully in the very, very near future. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, we have Mr. Marcus Lamar, Mr. Marcus L.A. Marr. Follow at my Mark My Word show on Instagram, Mr. John Jenkins, and Miss Jordan also joining us as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.